what have I learned about the technologies during this process? And I'll tell you that now. What I've learned is that the cameras we were used weren't particularly that brilliant. They didn't have a very good quality of them. They're quite old cameras, to be honest with you. We could have done something much more better. They didn't shoot in HD, for instance. And you know, and my phone can shoot in HD, but of course we use the actual camera because it was much easier to hook up to the MacBooks and Apple Mac computers. So that is why we use the camera. And it's, I mean, you know, we could have used a tripod with that. I mean, we did for the two scenes, you know, the press conference scene and the Jenga Tower falling scene. We both used tripods in there. Fortunately, the tripods weren't particularly that big, so and didn't have wheels on it, so we couldn't use them for the outside scene. Anyway, other technology we used was the Apple Macs and the MacBooks. Now these were quite, I thought these were quite good. They're quite, when you know how to use them, they're quite simplistic. Fortunately, we didn't really know how to use them because we more or less use Windows software computers, which are different to Apple's. So yeah, we had to learn how to use them first before we actually started, you know, started with our production. Part of the technology that we used was Blogger. Now, it's got as many pluses. It's quite easy to upload different posts on there, and you can do it quite quickly and quite easily. But it is very complicated when when you're actually setting out your templates and how you're gonna set it all out. It's quite complicated. It's quite frustrating at times. It's just really quite difficult, and when you try and move things around a bit, it's very difficult, and it's quite limited in some respects, despite the fact that it's quite good because it's connected to Google, which Google is connected to YouTube, so it's easy to upload videos onto it. It is very difficult in other areas. So that is a down. Maybe using Blogger isn't probably the most appropriate blogging site. However, because of its integration with Google and YouTube, also make it quite ideal. I'm not fully aware of any other blogging sites that are really out there, so we had to use that one. The actual editing software we used weren't particularly that great. The iMovie, it's very limited, it's very basic. It's very similar to the other one. We could have used a Windows Movie Maker. They're basically the same type of product, really, just for two different computer softwares. They're not particularly that great. As I said, they're very basic. They don't offer you much in terms of transitions and effects. They don't offer you much, really. They give you preset ones, and some of the presets ones we did use, which is the clapping and the booing and the shutter sounds, and some of the music we used as well came from there. But it could all be better. That's the thing. It could have been better. It was limited to the effects we could have used because we don't have any effects software. Maybe if we did have an effects software, could have probably got a better camera. We could probably get a better picture. Could have made it much more smooth and better transitions, so to say, and better graphics on the screen.